Here are 4 things I wish I would have known before starting to use DistroKid to distribute my music. So the first thing is, what kind of plans does DistroKid offer? DistroKid primarily offers 3 plans. The first one is the Musician plan, the second is the Musician Plus plan, and the third is the Ultimate plan. And each of these caters to different artist needs. However, you'll find that the features that are in the Musician plan, which is the smallest one, cut across all these other 2 plans. Now, I already have a video that covers the DistroKid plans and tells you which one is best for you. And I'm going to leave that link in the description so that you can check it out. However, the one important point I want to make before I move on from this is that once you select a plan, then you cannot really go back to the one that's below that. So let's say you select the second plan, which is the Musician Plus plan, or the third plan, which is the Ultimate plan. These plans below it become unavailable to you. And how do I know this? Last year, I actually upgraded my account from the Musician plan to the Musician Plus plan. And out of curiosity, I decided to check if ever I want to go back down and use the Musician plan, whether I could. And I found that I couldn't. So before you decide to select any plan, I would implore you to think about what your goals are and whether it is sustainable for you. Choose the Musician plan if you are just starting and you're not sure you'll actually stick with DistroKid. It will be a safer option for you. The second thing that I would have wanted to know is what royalties are collected by DistroKid. Now, DistroKid collects a variety of royalties. However, for some of them you will need to opt in, meaning that you will need to pay a bit of money. In this video, I'm going to be covering the royalties that are automatically collected for you as soon as you become a DistroKid user. And maybe in a separate video, I'll cover all these other opt-in royalties. So the royalties that DistroKid collects for every person that it distributes for, every artist, is the mechanical royalties. Mechanical royalties have changed since back in the day when labels were handling most of the artist royalties. The traditional royalties were basically when a label decides to print for you your discs and reproduce them and distribute them. Now, since the digitization of the music business, this has changed a bit because now we are finding that people are no longer buying CDs, they prefer to stream. So these mechanical royalties have kind of changed from the traditional mechanical royalties to streaming royalties. But not all royalties that are kind of mechanical in nature fall under the traditional mechanical royalties label. And that's what we are going to talk about as well in this section. So there are 3 types of royalties that DistroKid will collect for you automatically as soon as you become a user. The first is streaming royalties. These are the ones that replace the traditional royalties, and they are basically called mechanical royalties. The second type is the social media royalties, also known as micro-sync royalties. So if you've heard of sync royalties are what you get paid when your music is used in a movie or a TV show. Now with social media royalties or micro-sync royalties, you find your music being used on reels or on images as people are, sharing their lives on social media. So that is where that name comes from, the micro-sync royalties. That doesn't fall under the traditional mechanical royalties, but it is still collected by DistroKid because DistroKid also distributes your music to these social media platforms. The third type of royalties is YouTube music royalties. So when you share your music through DistroKid, when you upload your music there, your music is also shared on YouTube. And DistroKid goes ahead and collects those royalties the more your music is streamed on YouTube. YouTube is basically like the traditional royalties. The only thing is that it's not like the streaming royalties. It's also being streamed, but it's video. That is the main difference. So those are the 3 types of royalties. Just to recap, the first one is streaming royalties. The second is social media royalties. And the third is YouTube music royalties. So those are the 3 types of royalties that DistroKid will collect for you automatically as soon as you decide to distribute through them. The third thing that I would have wanted to know before starting to distribute with DistroKid is what payout methods are offered by the platform. So DistroKid offers 4 payout methods. The first one is PayPal, the second one is wire transfer, the third one is e-check, and then the fourth one is physical check. And each of these will carry different charges with them. So you need to kind of be aware of what works best for you before you select one. Personally, I use PayPal because the cost makes sense for me in terms of processing fees. I felt like charges, let's say for now, a bank transfer would be too hefty for me, because with each bank transfer, for example, you get to pay $27 or over $27 per transaction. Sometimes you're not even withdrawing that amount, that total amount. So in actual sense, you won't be able to withdraw money from DistroKid. So the second thing is you keep 100% of your earnings. However, the taxes and the processing fees are charged on your royalties. So as you're processing a withdrawal, those charges are cut off in order to cater for the money to be sent to you. So be aware of that. The third thing that I would like to talk about in terms of payouts is that DistroKid has a minimum threshold, which is $5.35. So before you have that amount on your account, you won't be able to withdraw. And if you get to that amount but you still do not have enough to cater for the processing fees or the taxes, then you're still not going to be able to withdraw. So you need to be aware of that while you're choosing DistroKid as your primary platform for distributing your music. The fourth thing that I would have wanted to know is how long it will take my music to be put up on streaming platforms once I've uploaded it to DistroKid. So like I said earlier, if I did a video on it and it's still applicable because I go and I check the videos, I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but I have it linked below, a video telling you how long on average it will take for your songs to be put on streaming platforms.